Arutperumjothi Arutperumjothi Taniperum Karunai Arutperumjothi 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 Taniperum Karunai Arutperumjothi. Bring your attention to the eyebrow center, where Arutperumjothi Andava is in the form of light. By seeing the divine light, chant the mantra with total devotion. Arutperumjothi Arutperumjothi Taniperum Karunai Arutperumjothi 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 Taniperum Karunai Arutperumjothi. அப்பா நான் வேண்டுதல் கேட்டு அருள் புரிதல் வேண்டும். ஆறுயிர்கட்கெல்லாம் நான் அன்பு செயல் வேண்டும். எப்பாரும் எப்பதமும் எங்கனும் நான் சென்றேன். எந்தை நினது அருட்புகழை எம்பிடல் வேண்டும். செப்பாத மேல்நிலை மேல் சுத்த சிவமார்க்கம் திகழ்ந்து ஓங்க அருட்ஜோதி செலுத்திடல் வேண்டும். தப்பேது நான் செய்யினும் நீ பொறுத்தல் வேண்டும். தலைவனை தெரியாத இளமையும் வேண்டுவனே. அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி 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 தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி. எல்லா உயிர்களும் இன்புற்று வாழ்க. திருவருட்பிரகாச வள்ளல் பெருமானார் தெய்வ திருவடிகளே சரணம் சரணம். குருவே சரணம், குருவே துணை. அருளே சரணம், அருளே துணை. Please slowly open your eyes. I invite you all for this session. Now I hand over the floor to Gandhinaya to proceed the meeting. Arutperumjothi.
Arutperumjothi Arutperumjothi Taniperum Karunai Arutperumjothi. A warm welcome to everyone to today's talk. And before that, I would like to thank Nagaraj Swamy for the invocation. And last week, Palajaya from Florida, USA, went deeper into insights on the faith of Suttha Sanmargam and know your daily disciplines. Now, in the daily disciplines, in his briefing last Saturday, he started off with the benefits of eating vettalai. Vettalai is betel leaves, and I joined in to say how vettalai or betel leaves is can be boiled and drank as well, and it has got a lot of medicinal values. And then Balajaya took us deeper into certain disciplines which we can adopt and better our lifestyle, daily lifestyle, from morning until we go to sleep at night. And I think for today's session, Balajaya will go into deeper, especially the subtopic of meditation, which he also touched briefly last Saturday. So without much ado, I hand over to Balajaya to continue to bring us all into further teaching of Vallalar Perumal. Arutperumjothi, over to you, Balajaya.
எல்லாம் செயல் கூடும் எண்ணானை அம்பலத்தே எல்லாம் வல்லான் தனையே ஏத்து அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி. Thank you, Gandhianaya. So last week we went over the daily disciplines of how we start from the morning, waking up early. We start the meditation. We get into the breakfast, and then we're going to continue from there on. So after breakfast, we are doing meditation, and after that, what is being recommended is to take rest, basically, like lay and take rest for some time, but without falling asleep. So this taking rest is customary even in some of those countries. Not in the morning though, but in the afternoon. If you see in some European countries like Spain, can't recall the other country's name, but even I guess I'm sure in China as well, in the afternoon, Philippines in the afternoon too. After their lunch, actually, they take a small cat nap. So they do not fall completely asleep, but they take a small nap and then they continue the work after that. It actually, what it does is it basically rejuvenates themselves and feel refreshed. It's basically a thought process. If we are working in our mind a lot, it basically helps us even to solve a problem. Multiple times things have happened like that. Even in my experience, trying to fix something, but eventually, for hours and hours, it might not work. But, staying off from the problem for some time and then coming back, the thought process is different. Then, things get faster that way. So taking rest actually after the morning, I mean, it's possible, but it's customary, and sometimes for business reasons, multiple countries are adopting it, but Perumal actually recommends it after the breakfast too. And then actually after that, again, we got to, it's like consuming betel leaf with betel nut and calcium. But the difference between this time and the one in the early morning is the proportion in which all the three is taken. In the early morning, what we were doing was we were taking betel nut a lot, but now it is the calcium or chunambu. We are taking the chunambu a lot, and betel leaf and betel nut in less proportion. So the proportion is going to differ. Similarly, it's going to happen in the night as well. There will be a recommendation of betel leaf before going to bed too. And another important point here is consuming that with a panchavasam. And note that this is not in the morning as morning. It's only in the early. It's not in the early morning per se. It's in the late morning and then in the night. So panchavasam is basically all the spices, all the 5 spices. It's like cardamom, cloves, edible camphor. Edible camphor is the pachai karpuram. Mace is jadipatri, and kubib is valmilagu. Most of these panchavasam spices, we use it in our kitchen for the most part. Most likely 1 or 2 you might have not heard of it, but most of them, we use for in some form or the other. We use it in our daily cooking too. So consuming that with betel leaf is good. And the process, again, is the same. We spit the first secreted liquid, and then the rest of them, only the liquid is consumed, and the remains of it, we are again going to spit it. So that is going to be a generic process which is going to be followed throughout. So 7 hours after the breakfast, if needed, eat banana. If needed means we get hungry. If we are hungry, then we can eat banana as payan, rastali or bangala with sugar or mix with sugar and cow ghee. Sugar we always refer to as natu sakarai, not definitely the white one. So it's better not to buy even the white one. Have that at home. So now comes the afternoon. So in the afternoon session, so no intercourse, actually, no getting into relationship in any of the daytime. After food, meditate again for some time. So you can see the meditation. We started with the meditation. Once we woke up, actually, the meditation started. Then then we went, took a bath, and then again the meditation started. And then again in the afternoon too, after food too, the meditation starts there too. So you can see that this pattern would keep coming in. So the betel leaves, the meditation, and the resting. This pattern is going to keep on following. And this is just the bachelor's course. The master's is way different than this. So get ready for it. So now actually proceed to work in the afternoon without taking a toll on the body. If it's hard work, if it's labor intensive work, actually chunk them into pieces and do it in such a way that it doesn't impact the body. So, and this is the other thing which we will start saying. The pattern would be same, like taking care of the body would be the main focus throughout the day-to-day discipline. It's like whatever ways possible through food or through activity. The precedence here is basically to take care of the body, to make sure that we keep our body so we can prolong it. So hard work. Most of the people actually are involved in hard labor. So if possible, it's better to always chunk it and do it in pieces than to stretch it out and to do in the whole stretch continuously until the body goes up and finally fall on the ground. We don't want to do that. And then wander in the sun, actually exposing our body to the sun rays. So evening sun is mostly important than even the morning sun from Perumal's perspective. So because of the UVB rays, what happens is it has all the vitamin D production in the body takes place. And during this time, evening, it's better to even go for a walk or do all the yogas or other activities, exposing the body to the sunlight. There was one time actually I called the Sadhu Nagarajaya, and then I heard this sound like it looks like he was walking through the woods. And I was like, are you in the middle of something? Am I disturbing you? Right? And it was evening there in India, and he was like, no, yeah, I'm. You can say I'm just having my walk, right? I'm walking. I'm taking a walk there, but it is definitely advisable. And since this time, depending on what we are working, we don't have that much activity these days. So we have to get some kind of activity too. So you can build a routine in that way that an evening walk or an evening activity, which exposes us to the body, which exposes the rays, the sun's rays on our body, is definitely good. Then don't walk when it's too windy. So when it's too windy, that's when when it would start raining, or there'll be like a cold front coming in. So do not walk. You can see how Perumal is so particular on keeping up the body, not to waste any of the energy what we have accumulated. Don't expose the body in rain, snow, or under even in a hot sun. So not to expose the body in rain, or we always do that. Snow. There are lots of snow games where we play here, tubing, skiing, and all those things. I myself had tried lots of things, but personally, I can't withstand the cold. So I always, like for an hour or so, I can enjoy, but after that, I'd retreat and want to fall back to my old place or wherever it is warm. And then hot sun too. So hot sun, trying to avoid hot sun a lot is also a good thing for people whose geographical condition lies close to the equator. It's probably more important there. And then slowly comes the evening, right? So in the evening, to clean up the body before night, wear ashes and meditate. And this, I think, is a common practice we do. Is basically we go and clean up our body, at least our face, legs, hands. This has been customary for at least when for a long time, I'm thinking. And this cleaning up is definitely useful at this point of time. We can see, because of all the diseases, all the stuff, which is spreading. So it definitely will help in all aspects too. Before even coming into home, we always try to clean ourselves before even coming inside. So that is how we have been before, right? So here too, after doing all the cleanup in the evening, we sit down and we start our meditation. So with meditation, we've been in quite in detail on how we have to meditate. It's basically thinking on God, and we understood how the process is. And here what we are doing is also we are praising about the God, and we can go over the philosophies of what's been written and try to understand some of those things. Now, involved in worldly activity, this thing happens to come in the evening, but I think that's the first thing which we start in our morning. We start with the worldly activity. So, but here in the evening, this is when we try to get involved in worldly activity, trying to see social activity, like how we can help people or what can be performed to help people. What's the problem going on in the world, right? In that context, that is what the worldly activity here means. Dinner should always be less than the morning breakfast, morning food, what we do. And sometimes actually this goes in reverse too. We always take heavy food in dinner, and then less food in the morning. I guess that's most likely because we all go to office or we have some kind of work or the other. We really do not have time to enjoy the food, or neither to wait to eat the food. So we just go ahead and gulp whatever we can and then run for the office, right? So that's a practice which has to be reversed. And dinner should always be less, because dinner, we come back from the office there, then now we are relaxed. We have lots of time. So we want to eat, we spend time with our family. So, we want to eat a lot at the time. We want to eat taste food. So we always prefer all these things, and dinner. But dinner has to be way less compared with the morning. And this actually is very important as we get older as well, because of the digestion aspect of it. That is why sufficient time is always given before going to bed, because the food doesn't get digested. And if we go to bed right after a heavy dinner, it's not going to be digested, and that's going to give lots of other problems too, right? That's not really good. So that is why this is really very important. And eating late night food, I think that's become a trend in most of us. So that definitely needs to be kept in check. No curd, spinach, gas and coal induced food. So curd actually is also makes the body cold too. So no curd, spinach won't help in our digestion if we eat at night. So, or like a food which induces any gas issues or even cold issues. So those are the foods which has to be avoided at night. And then Perumal actually says, okay, fine, let me just give you the recipe too and menu too. Say like, you can try something in brinjal. We can do something with drumstick or broad beans. It's the avarakkai, murungakai or katrikai. And eat it hot. Eat it hot, of course, yes. But hot doesn't mean we take it from the refrigerator and heat it up and eat it. So eat it hot means here is cook it fresh and then eat it hot. So that is how we have to take this. This has definitely been a challenge these days too. It's that's why it's like working at home is a full-time job, because to eat it hot we have to, if we are even if someone is at home and taking care of home, it's a tougher activity to cook all 3 times a day and to get hot food. It's a blessing these days to get it. I know even people who cook for one whole week. I know people who have refrigerator in the garages and 2 refrigerators. The size of those refrigerators, I don't think we can even imagine. It would be like for the next 1 month, you don't even have to go anywhere outside, or even more than that. I can think more than that. So they just cook in the Saturdays, Sundays, because people go to work. So they said, okay, fine, let me go ahead and cook for the whole week and store them all in the refrigerator, mark them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then, cook a big bowl of sambar or chutney, and then, you can just put it and, heat it up in the microwave and then keep going, right? Not even, that's the one. It's microwaving, right? Not even heating in stoves. Stoves are gone these days. So microwaves, and then, heat it up in microwave and keep going from there. Do you want to share this one about microwaves as well? We have got rid of microwave for the last, I guess, I don't know, maybe 8 years or 9 years. It's been a long time. It's been really a long time. And anybody who comes at home, friends, families, families understood, but friends like, oh, how do we heat it here? How do we heat it? They're really surprised to know that we don't have a microwave in here. So it has been so essential in life that without a microwave is unimaginable in here. So, it's, even if we have to heat it, sometimes, we do a carryover, not saying that we are not carrying over leftover foods. We do have to carry over sometimes. And at the time, we use pans to heat it rather than using a microwave. But microwave is a different story. Heating that other thing, all those consequences. Okay, let's not even get that. But yeah. So those things, those kind of, I think for conveniences, we have twisted and turned lots of things for our own conveniences. But those conveniences take a toll on us some way or the other. So how good is the food? Suttha Sanmargam food is something which doesn't go bad. Now we are trying to prolong the food for a week, if we go in stores, we can see stuff, which can last for months. I'm talking about all these instant foods, actually, instant food, including like which are already pre-mixed and they're pre-baked, and they say like months, sometimes even in years. How can they last years? It's something, it's still trying to get a handle on how those things could work. But anyway, something to think about, and slowly, we can start moving in a direction where even, we have to do small quantities or healthy food. We just cook it instantly and eat the hot food in it, and not to, store it for a week or weeks. Okay, the evening continues in here. So there we go here. So after eating, walk after some time. So Perumal says, like, after eating, take a walk. We definitely want to do our walking after we eat food, so things get digested. And if we don't digest the food, I think the biggest problem here, or I had, at least from my experience, I had seen is, if we eat too early, we might get hungry when sleeping. This is, I think, one problem which we might feel or we might have. That's what actually my parents used to say too. Eating very early, like we get hungry a lot, right? So that balance, we have to find the right time, and the type of food, actually what we eat, will also make a difference in there. So if we eat something, which can digest very fast, and then, we wait for a very long time, then obviously we'll get hungry. But Perumal actually has a suggestion for that too. So we'll see that. So after our dinner, we again start our meditation. This is also going to be no surprise. So this pattern is going to keep continuing. So you can see the importance of meditation in here in Suttha Sanmargam. That's why we took 4 sessions, 4 hours, and that too we basically just touched on the base of it. Those things we can just keep going on and get into great details on it, but everybody would disappear if we go to that depth. So that's why we also want to understand the prerequisites and why we got to do it, and have some understanding towards it. So that's why we went in great details on how to do it. And if you have to go and refer, please feel free to go and refer there. So after 5 hours, drink milk. So this is, this is just before we sleep. What we can try to do is we can try to drink milk. And this one we are talking about is real cow milk, and we also want to make sure that the source is trusted, A2, and and all those things as well. So the pattern continues in here too. So after drinking milk, we'll wait for an hour, and then we will consume betel leaf along with betel nut and calcium. So here the process is similar, but the proportion is going to be different. We are going to do more betel leaves this time, with less calcium and betel nut. And here also with Panjavasam, the spices, all the 5 spices together, we mix it up and we eat it. So here too, once we have our betel leaf, we spit our first liquid, which got secreted, and we consume the later ones. And again, finally, we spit the remains, actually, or what's called as tippi. Okay, next we're going to talk about light. This is going to be a simile. So I'm just giving a little bit heads up before it. A simile is a similarity. So we're going to talk about simile, and then we are going to associate with something else eventually, and then correlate it and see how things are. Fine. But this is one of the essential things too, which we have to know about our life. And let's see what Perumanar is saying about this. Okay. So mud lamp is the body. So the lamp, actually, what we see in the snapshot in the picture, that is our body. So in that lamp, the oil what we use is our blood, and wick is the semen, and light is the soul. So when we take a lighted lamp, what we can correlate that back is with us. So in the lighted lamp, mud lamp is the body, oil is the blood, wick is the semen, and light is the soul. And below is what an intelligent person will try to do, will try to follow, to take care, to make sure that it lasts for a long time. So we can try to prolong it, right? Make sure that the lamp, which is the mud lamp, is not overheated. So when the light is burning, the goal is basically to make sure that the lamp is not overheated. Oil is not accumulating with dirt. You know what oil is? Oil is our blood, and that is not accumulating with dirt. So what happens sometimes, when dirt comes into oil, then, that glow from the lamp is not going to be that great. So it won't light as good as it is. So, and even like with the blood, when we talk about blood, the dialysis, what we do in blood, that's like we have the body which purifies the blood on a regular basis. The kidney takes care of it, right? That's what dialysis is. So once the kidney is not functioning properly, then dialysis happens. But then dialysis have to be done. Not only that, anemia, or blood always like sometimes goes up and down, or with food too, we can try to take care of our blood too. So when there is an issue with hemoglobin, stuff like that, that's when all of our greens and stuff will help us. Then, without invoking wick often. Oh, wick is the Thiri. Thiri, the white thing which we are lighting the lamp on. I should have explained that before. So that is the wick. So without invoking the wick often, invoking and spending wick is detrimental to the soul. So making sure that the lamp's not overheated, we don't get overheated by any means. It could be even by using stress, pressure, or through a relationship, not making it heated, not get on the mix of oil and the dirt, that's the blood, and then the wick, not invoking the wick that often. And also it said that it's detrimental to the soul. So it's basically deteriorates. It's not good for the soul as well. With that, we go into this one. So Perumal goes into, he touches everything which, if we think about the body, like how or why basically death comes in. We have four aspects of it. One, let's recall those things. First one being the food course, right? So that's why we talk more and more on food there. So the second one is the sex. So the intercourse. So let's go ahead and see what Perumal has to say about that. So before getting into a relation, have the mind focused somewhere else for 24 minutes. 24 minutes. So basically, have the mind focused 24 minutes before getting into any relation. And then and now we are talking about the interval of the relationship and to the body relation. So when getting into every 4 days, what's called as Adama Paksham, and it's where we have to exercise caution. What happens is there will be issues with kids eventually generating with the future generation. So we got to be really cautious on that. And then every 8 days is what's called as Madhyama Paksham, or it's called as moderation. And then every 15 days is what's the ideal for it, is called Uttama Paksham. And note that Perumal goes on to say that perform these acts actually when you wanted to really have a kid, right? Like we want to have a kid, then you perform the activity. Otherwise, do the action in such a way that the semen is not lost. So we're getting into a little bit detail in here. So how to perform an activity without even getting lost? Even he goes in that too. So the way is basically to not control the prana inside the body. At the same time, not to leave the prana outside of the body, but to have prana going inside the body, up and down, only inside it. But for all those things, we can't even control food. So this is a whole different thing. But so there is lots of details onto like how things can be handled and stuff like that. So I just want to let you know that it goes in great depth. And then it goes into say like no wasting of seminal fluid through any other acts other than the relationship. So after the relationship, clean the body and again perform meditation before sleeping. So now the routine again starts. So now let's go ahead and check on sleeping now. Okay, so sleeping. So the snapshot in the screen actually has a picture of sleeping on the left side and also on the sleeping on the right side. So on the top right corner, where you're seeing is on the right side, and on the lower bottom is what you are seeing on the left side. So let's see what the right side and the left side is, right? I mean, we know that sleeping on the right side, what happens is the breath actually, sleeping on the left side, sorry. Sleeping on the left side, what happens is the breath goes on the right side of it. We know about that. That actually helps also in the digestion process as well. We have seen that a lot. But was thinking more about it to see from the body perspective, and this was something which came in. in holistic medicine, right, which is a new kind of medicine, evolving medicine these days, there are proofs that on the left side of the body, it's a dominant on the lymphatic side. Lymphatic side is where basically, the lymph nodes are, which contains the WBCs, the white blood cells, which fights infection. They're part of the body's immune system. So these filtration in the lymphatic nodes actually happens best when we sleep on the left side. Moreover, I'm sure we have heard of what's called as gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD. I mean, it's in short, it's called as heartburn. You probably have heard of heartburn, acid indigestion, and all those things. So that's the, I think, technical term they use for it. So what happens there with the heartburn is the issue with the digestion. So when we take the snapshot, and if you look at the stomach, right, that kidney shaped stomach in there is a lining on the stomach area, and that lining actually, what the lining does is the lining helps us in such a way that the acid which is getting secreted in the stomach, right, which is getting secreted in the stomach is not impacting our stomach, but the tube from that stomach to the area of our mouth, that's called as what's called as an esophagus, or that we can call it as a food tube. So that is the food tube, and that's called as the esophagus, and the lining is on the stomach, and the area which connects the stomach and the food tube, that corner up there, if you can see my cursor, there's supposed to be a valve up there. And this valve right on this intersection between the stomach and the food pipe, we can call it as, or esophagus, this valve actually closes when the food gets in. So the digestion happens in there. There is acid in the stomach. All those gastric juices are there. And what happens is when we eat a lot of food and, overeat and all those things, eventually at some point, those valves doesn't have those linings, which the stomach has. So that is basically a backflow of the digestive gastric juices up there in the stomach to the mouth. And that is where the heartburn, you feel the burning sensation, or food even coming up actually to the throat. I think we can feel it, especially when we eat a lot of food coming back to the throat, or times when you try to bend down after you eat a lot of food, that could happen. Or sometimes after dinner, you go directly to sleep, you might feel it. So that's why it's important. You can see the shape, because of the shape of the stomach and where the esophageal tube is. The food actually, if we eat the right proportion of food, gives some for the air to stay inside, at night when we go for dinner, it won't go back to the esophageal tube, and the probability of getting those heartburns are less there. And on the other side, if we go to the right side, now you can see there's only less portion of it. I think this picture even doesn't do that justice even, there's even a little bit less portion of it. And, it actually, and especially if the valve is not that great, the backflow can happen there. So that's what's about it on all the digestions and stuff. So next, so we now are on the left side sleeping, and then we want to sleep approximately for 4 hours, after which we think about the God. So we go into sleep now on the left side, and we sleep for 4 hours there. And after sleeping too, we are thinking about the God. But at the same time, when sleeping, we do not get into dreaming state. So there are three states. So the awakened state, Jakaradai, and then in the sleeping state, actually we can go to a dream state where we kind of dream something, and then we go to a deep sleep state where we do not dream, but we were in complete rest, in complete harmony. Everything functions very great, the body, and you woke up and we felt very refreshed. So that is the deep sleep state. So try not to dream too much up there, and wake up. 4 hours is probably tougher. That's a slow step. I think we saw that before too. So it's like every 15 minutes for months and months, like every 5 months or 6 months, slowly keep improving, and we can slowly get there. And let's talk about character now. So when talking about character, Perumal says, do not be afraid of anything. So don't have fear in anything, but at the same time, fear what you have to fear for. So don't be afraid of anything, but because fear is the fourth aspect which destroys our body too, right? So food, sex, and then there is fear in that too. So what do we really are afraid of? We are really afraid of lots of things if you think about it. Fear of job, fear of lots of things, fear even in getting to work. Oh, will I get to work at time? Blah blah blah. All those things. So what should we really be afraid of? We should be really afraid when a life is in danger, when our life is in danger. So that is where intelligence, the knowledge and the knowledge aspect comes of it. So we don't really want to go ahead and perform all acts, without intelligence, right? I'm not having a fear. I can just go in the road and close my eyes in the middle of the road and stay there, right? That's called something else. That's nonsense, right? So that's what he's referring to as, do not be afraid of anything, but at the same time, be afraid of what you have to. And that's a huge topic. We can go over, if possible, it'll be a separate session. So anger, laziness, lying, jealousy, scolding is not good for us. So we really don't want to be angry. We really don't want to be tamasic, laziness. We don't want to lie. Jealousy of what's happening. We really do not want to scold anybody. Shouting, walking fast, running, fighting is not advisable. So why are all these things not advisable? Because we lose prana in it. So when we perform all these activities, we lose prana. So we don't want to lose all stuff, what we have in place. So that is the reason. Yeah. While doing any job or in any conversation, do with godly thoughts. So this one, when we try to perform any job, it could be anything, whatever we do on a daily activity, but do with godly thoughts. It's probably, I think it's, personally, I think I'm trying, but it's very tough for me. I try to say like, I don't really want to be involved in this kind of work and get into the work, but somehow or the other, once we get into the work, we totally forgot the whole thing. So It's a tough one, but it's through practice, through concentrating in Sirchabai, right? It's how we get all these things done. And then taking bath. So yeah, that's that's also not a topic which has been left out. So how do we take bath, and what's the importance of oil bath? I'm sure we heard about this thing a lot, but let's see go over the process of how to do this oil bath. So take yellow Karsalangani powder, right? We can buy yellow Karsalangani powder, or if you have yellow Karsalangani or even white Karsalangani, keep it on, dry it actually, and powder it, okay, dry it in the indirect sunlight. Then mix with sesame oil and bring to boil. So boil it with sesame oil, and then use it in the head and body and apply it all over the body basically, and take a bath in hot water every 4 days. So apply on your body, stay for a while so it gets into the body. Everybody's different, so got to stay in the body. Make sure that the weather is hot because it will cool down the body. Make sure not to eat any hard food after it because it goes through a cleansing process in the body. So don't. And then also not to get involved any type of relationship, bodily relationship, and also any type of hard work as well after after taking this oil bath. I think the first feel after the oil bath is the sleep, which happens, but we definitely do not want to do that as well. So, and then I think maybe Perumal thinks after that, oh, you know what, maybe 4 days is ideal, but maybe we won't listen. So he probably says, not possible. Try to at least to do it once in a week. Try to do it at least once in a week. And then he also goes on saying like, oh, in absence of Karsalangani powder, don't worry about all those things. At least use the boiled sesame oil, and then cool it down, bring it to a consistency where it can be applied to the body, and then use it though. So this is actually the process of oil bath. I know there's lots of resorts, rejuvenation centers, retreat centers, which are making lots of businesses out of oil baths and all these things. But this is the process of going to it, which we can do it in our home, make our home as our retreat center, and perform this as well. So with this, actually, we are coming to the close of this complete daily disciplines, which we have to follow. And I wish everybody, including myself, nothing but success in this endeavor with the grace of Arutperumjothi. So with this, we'll hand over to Gandhi and Aya. Thank you very much, Arutperumjothi.
My thought on this subject today is certain things, it's not practical to follow very strictly because of our environment is different, our time is different, our weather is different, and certain things we can't do. If we do, we have to be careful whether we are overdoing it, which can be detrimental to our own health. A good example will be, for example, oil bath. Oil bath, in my view, if we take it in a cold country, I think it may affect our body, and we may get other problems. Unlike in hot countries like Singapore, in Malaysia, in India, it very much suits that kind of climate. Even in Singapore, we try to take oil bath at least once a week with warm water or hot water. So, as Pramana touched on this kind of in this subject, as he elaborated further, because I think during Parmanar's time, he was very concentrated in South India, and whatever he has said or written is very applicable to that time in South India. Maybe Balaji Ayya or Nagaraj Swamy Ayya can elaborate further on this.
Okay, I can give it a shot, Ayya, and Nagaraj Ayya can correct me. Like you said, oil bath is definitely something which is good. Everybody agrees on it. Everybody here agrees on it too in US. But we follow it regularly too. But we do not do it at winter time. So for the any time when the weather is pretty hot outside and it's not cold, where we do not have to put heater on, we definitely use it. But at the same time, some of these things, there are no hard and fast rules in here. It also depends on how much we keep our body soaked in the oil. So I normally would do for an hour and a half, but it might not work for somebody else. So people might have to start with 20 minutes or 30 minutes and see how it actually works, even for hot weather too. And then based on it, increase or decrease it, right? But here, I think for winter, actually, it's definitely not advisable because it cools down the body. But for anytime it's summer, weekly once, definitely we are in sync in it. I don't know what Nagaraj Ayya's take on it is, but yeah.
Nagaraj, you want to add on this?
Yes, of course. You both are correct actually, but we can take this discipline according to our circumstances, and we should try as much as possible to follow it. And the thing is, suppose you have been given a lamp, earth and lamp, and if you want to safeguard it, what are the steps we take to safeguard that earth and lamp? We will not keep it in the windy area. We will give good oil to that, like sesame oil. Like those things are a good example. Similarly, like this body is that earth and lamp. Now all these disciplines is given to us to take care of that body. So there is a point there. So with having that in the mind, so according to your situations and circumstances, and we have to try to adapt that, because this body is a gift from the God, and it is given to us to have the highest experience, ultimate experience that we should get in this birth, that we should achieve in this birth. So there is a point there, so that we have to keep it. So this body is the property of God. Not we are just a trustee, we are not the owner of it. Now we have been endued with this body, and we are given that knowledge to take care of this body, and now we should adapt the discipline to take care of this body. That is the point there, so that we can do our sadhana and we will get that Annamalai, God's grace, and we will get that ultimate experience. So that's the point there.
Wonderful. Thanks for elaborating on that point, which was also in my mind to ask about the lamp. It was very enlightening. I should use that word, enlightening, to know that a lamp is so significant. All the while we have been lighting it up and lighting it up every day without knowing what is the significance of of the lamp, thinking that it's just light. All right, ஜோதியை தான் ஏத்துறோம் அப்படின்னு we all think and move on. Okay, I would like to open the floor to others to give your views, say something, or ask a question. Please feel free to do so.
Swamy is saying in Thiruvanamalai, இந்த உலகத்துல நான் இருக்கிறதுக்கு காரணம் வந்து விடய காதலால் அல்ல என்று தமிழ்ல இருக்கு. Actually, Swamy is saying in Thiruvanamalai, but what does it mean? I am into this world not in the search of worldly enjoyments or worldly pleasures. I am into this world to do compassionate services, to do jiva karunya. So that is the notion when we are into this world. One Swami said, actually, he said, when you close your eyes, try to meditate, try to see the light inside your forehead. When you open your eyes, just think, what can I do for other beings? This is two types of, this is also a meditation. When we close our eyes, we should try to see the God inside. When you open your eyes, we should think, what I can give to this world? In what way I can serve these beings in this world? So if you have that thought, as Swamy said, I'm into this world to help the beings, to do the compassionate service to my brother beings. So that should be our notion in our daily life also. So these are the series of talks given by Balaji Ayya, very useful, very enlightening. So I request all the viewers to, if you don't have watched the previous videos, please log on to Vallalar Spirituality at YouTube so that you can see all other videos also. And with this, I think this topic is going to end, and Balaji Ayya will definitely come up with a new topic. Then we will meet again to have more, to know more about Suttha Sanmargam. And I will thank Gandhi Naya for facilitating this program, and Gauri Amma for hosting this program. And many more thanks to Balaji Ayya for enlightening us on the path of Suttha Sanmargam in the English language, which is very much important in this world, because many people will come to know about Sanmargam when it is given in English. So that is a great job, Ayya. Thank you for your enlightening talks, and we wish that you should give us more talks, and we should continue this sessions every Saturday without any pay. I'll pay Arutperumjothi also for his grace. Thank you, everybody. With this, we will conclude this session with an invitation. I request all of you to close your eyes. I will chant a mantra. You all please chant a mantra inside your mind. Slowly bring your attention to the eyebrow center. Sabha. Where our Arutperumjothi Aalayam is in the form of divine light. By looking into that light, you will chant a mantra. You all please chant the mantra inside your mind. Arutperumjothi, Arutperumjothi, Thaniperum Karunai Arutperumjothi, 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 Arutperumjothi Arutperumjothi Taniperum Karunai Arutperumjothi 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 அருளானான் வேண்டுதல் கேட்டு அருள் புரிதல் வேண்டும் அணுத்துணையும் சினம் காமம் அடையாமை வேண்டும் மருளாய உலகமெல்லாம் மருள் நீங்கி ஞான மந்திடத்தே வள்ளலுனை வாழ்த்திடல் வேண்டும் இருளாமை உறல் வேண்டும் இணையடுத்தார் சுகம் வாய்ந்திடல் வேண்டும் எவ்வுயிரும் இன்பமடைதல் வேண்டும் பொருளாம் ஒரு திருவடிவில் உடையாயும் நானும் உணர்ந்து கலந்து ஒன்றாகி பொருந்துதல் வேண்டுவனே அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி 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 தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி எல்லா உயிர்களும் இன்புற்று வாழ்க திருவருட்பிரகாச வள்ளல் பெருமானார் தெய்வ திருவடிகளே சரணம் சரணம் குருவே சரணம் குருவே துணை அருளே சரணம் அருளே துணை. We thank the Divine for this moment. I request all of you to slowly open your eyes.